Hello, my name is Diane Mctamney, and I am your son or daughter's ninth grade American History Part 2 history teacher. Just wanted to introduce you to my class and go over a little bit of my philosophy. So this is my Canvas page, which I'll be revisiting in a moment. You can find anything you need here. I will show you that I am trying to keep things a little bit simpler for your sons and daughters on Canvas, which I'll show you in a moment. Let me move this out of the way here. Okay, so I grew up locally. So I went to Upper Marion High School, which is in King of Prussia. I went to IUP for a degree in history and political science. I've always loved history. I found it a fascinating story. And then I earned my teaching credentials at Westchester University. I started here in Pembroke in 1997, and I've been here ever since. So I've taught 8th grade for about the first 10 or 12 years, and then I've been in 9th grade. Sometimes I still teach 8th grade. So I've done a variety of things over the years here at Pembroke. A couple of years ago, I retired. I used to work on the play with Mr. O'Brien for 20 years. I used to coach lacrosse back in my youth, I guess we could say. This is my family, my son and daughter. These are old pictures, but this is how I still see them. That's us at Great Wolf Lodge. So my daughter Cassie is in 8th grade. My son Bobby is in 10th, and we live in the Mctamney-Guihan school district. So I'm living this experience of a pandemic and this distance learning as a parent and a teacher. So I definitely get it. For some students, they're thriving. For some students, they're struggling. This is just really hard for everybody. My husband and I have been married for 20 years. He is also a history teacher. He's in the Westchester area school district. My history class, and this hasn't changed with the block scheduling and the hybrid or the distance learning, whatever you want to call it. History for me always was trying to get students away from memorizing and thinking about it. And at the HP level, I am going to prepare each student, if they so choose, to take advanced placement history. But the thing is, yes, you need a foundation of information, but what I want them to focus on is, what does the information mean? Because they're growing up in an age where they have a computer, right? Their phone sitting right next to them. So that's great if, for example, they can look up, on the phone, what is Reconstruction, which is our first chapter. What's more important is, can they look at those facts and think about them? So for example, our first unit, they will be evaluating, was Reconstruction a success or failure? And it's debatable. So I'm trying to shift them over to why I became a history major, because history is debatable. History is thinking about it. History is interpretation. With the distance learning, I really, in hybrid, I am trying to give the students no homework outside of school. Being in this environment, being on a computer all day is different than being in the classroom. And I really want to recognize that. So every day I build in time for the students to complete work while I am available for help. If the students choose to not complete it during class time, then they're choosing to complete it later. But all of my work is always due by midnight, just to indicate to you I did give them time in school to do the work. So what I want to do now is go over just quickly to my Canvas page. And my Canvas page, I found after the first semester, a couple weeks in, that when I make a lot of posts in Canvas, it was just a little overwhelming to the students. So what I have shifted over to is I prepare for the students a weekly agenda. And I'll have this load here for a second. And in this weekly agenda, what I do is I embed as much as possible for the student. So in other words, in 2 weeks when we have a test on this chapter, instead of the students trying to click through all these Canvas pages and find all these PowerPoints, they just need to look at each of my weekly agendas, because as you'll see here, the materials are sitting there for them. And my students in the first semester found this actually to be more helpful. So I'm trying to teach students, as you'll see on the side, I asked them to create a history folder, and then I'm going to try to model for them how can we organize our materials digitally. So every chapter, go ahead and create a folder, okay? So anytime there is an assignment though, and if you'll notice, I tell them what has to be done on the column here. I will post things that are larger assignments, I will make it an assignment in Canvas so it does populate their calendar. But right now, this is asynchronous work, which means if they were sitting in class with me, they would be expected to do it during class time. So far, everything's going great. All I ask is, and I told the students this, if something's going on, if they need help, if they're falling behind, if their Wi-Fi is acting up, anything, just communicate with me. We're in this together. We are still learning. We are still working on all of our skills. I know I keep reading and people are saying they're so concerned about students falling behind, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone's opinions, but all I can say is first semester, when I gave my students the same assessments I've given in the past, they were exactly where I needed them to be. So I might be cutting out some content. I might be cutting out little bits and pieces, but the process, the thinking, the learning, bits and pieces of the research process, we're still doing all of that. So please know that your children are doing great. And again, I'm looking forward to a great semester. Please email me with any questions or concerns, and it was nice to meet you.